Hi everybody. Now that this project is done, I thought it might be nice to make a quick video talking about the various features and components. So I guess I'll just start at the bottom and work my way up here. We have a bass drum with the typical O-roll bass drum beater and timpani. I did not have room to put the tap cymbal beside the drum like you normally see. And so it's actually inside the drum, and it has its own valve and pneumatic that beats the cymbal. Next to the drum, we have the main electrical control. All the lighting and control wires are 12 volts DC. And then I've got relays inside here that control the 120 volt electricity. So that makes it safe and allows me to use very small wire for the lighting and for the control circuits. Next to that, we have the blower for the organ pipes. I've got it regulated to put out 6.5 inches of wind. It has an Amatec Windjammer capacitor start motor in there with several stages, at least 5 or 6. It puts out 23 inches of wind, unregulated, just wide open. Of course, I don't need that much, so the regulator cuts that down as appropriate. Down here we have the 2 speed controls, one for the spool frame motor and the one in the back for the rotary pump. Here we have the vacuum regulator. So it's basically a spring-loaded reservoir, and then on the front is an Ampicos style amplifier, which of course is connected to the amplifier hole position on the tracker bar. So when this pneumatic closes, it puts extra spring pressure on the spill valve and gives you a nice boost in vacuum. It's great for accenting the drums, accenting the crash cymbal, and even the piano, so it gives more expression. The piano is from a Reproduso mortuary organ. It was gutted except for the stack and of course the piano. So it does have its Koinola stack in there. The nice thing about these is they are really very deep. They're much deeper than a typical piano, even a typical coin piano, because they had extra long keys, because above the piano keyboard you had an organ keyboard, and they had to make room for that. So that gave me a lot of depth up there to cram pack everything in there. Right above the keys is the accordion. I didn't have room for a full-size accordion, so I just took the reeds I needed and built new reed cells for them and mounted them inside of this unit, which connects to the 24-note solo section piano valves and plays the reeds. This is the pressure regulator for the reeds. They only play on 3 inches of wind. This pump creates both vacuum and pressure. The pressure port feeds, there's a hole drilled through that shelf, which feeds down into this regulator, and then here's a valve that turns on and off the wind to the reeds. Let's see, we have pneumatic switches to turn on and off the drums as per the owner's request. This little unit right here is the primary valve unit for the drums. And then you'll notice the coin trip shutoff. It's just a pouch that pushes a micro switch, which turns the orchestrion off at the end of the tune. Then we've got locking cancels for the hammer rail, mandolin rail, and the drum expression. So between the amplifier and the drum expression, you have basically 3 levels of expression for the drums, which is kind of nice. The mandolin rail you can't really see in there, but I posted on Facebook about that, how it's made of thick mylar. which appears to be holding up really well. So far, no problems at all with that. The spool frame, I'm not sure who made that. The owner had purchased that and provided it along with the piano. So my one complaint about it is the holes in the tracker bar are very tall. They're as tall as they are wide, which is unusual. Normally the tracker bar holes are shorter vertically than they are width-wise. But anyway, it does cause repetition to suffer a little bit because of that, especially on poorly recut rolls where the holes are elongated instead of crisp single punches like they should be. So on this side, you have the rest of the percussion, the crash cymbal, woodblock, snare drum with a roll and a tap pneumatic, the triangle, and of course the tambourine. And then over here you have the rest of the solo instruments. We have 2 ranks of violin pipes. They are tuned slightly Celeste. I didn't get really aggressive with it, but I wanted a nice bit of a waver to the tone. Immediately behind them are the flutes. And of course they are Koinola style scroll tuned flutes. Behind them is an original Deegan rosewood xylophone. This was originally a hand-played xylophone that I then re-drilled and mounted to be automatically played, and I retuned it. This is the Deegan Jr. Style xylophone. And then behind that is a nice set of aluminum orchestra bells that got retuned and polished. So basically we've got 5 solo instruments, and because the O-roll can't play 5 solo instruments, I built a mechanism which I detailed in another video, so I'm not going to go into that there, that expands the ability of the O-roll to play all 5 solo instruments. I did want to mention the swell control. Once the front is on here, then this little unit will open a shutter on the top right above the organ pipes. And you'll notice there are 2 pneumatics that control it. One has a short span, and then this one has a longer span. When either the bells or xylophone come on, the shorter span pneumatic collapses and opens that shade a certain amount. When the pipes come on, this pneumatic closes and opens it even more. And when both the xylophone and pipes come on together, it closes all the way for maximum opening. So let's go ahead and hear Take the A Train. These are the 3 buttons that control everything. The red button turns it on, and it'll play one tune, then stop. If you push the middle button, it will turn on and run continuously. And then the button to the far right will shut the machine off at any time, even in the middle of the song if you want to. So here we go.